Well, today is Friday, June 29th. It's about 6:20 p.m. Came up to the marina here after work, meeting up with my brother. And we're going to fix the gooseneck track on the mast where one of the bolts at the top had stripped. So we're going to have to take the entire track off and then going to attempt to put a Rivnut in that stripped out hole. So hopefully this will go smoothly. My biggest concern is getting the other bolts out, because I'm sure they've been in there many decades. Alright, so we've got 4 bolts we need to take out in order to remove the track. And then we're going to drill out that top hole that's stripped, put a Rivnut in there. Keep going. My biggest concern was these bolts were going to be difficult to get out, but Rich was able to crack them pretty easily actually. The first 3 are stripped. Yeah. Okay, get that 7. Pull it out. Alright. Alright, so I was able to find a 17/32 drill bit, which is not easy. They don't sell them at Home Depot, Menards, Ace Hardware, Harbor Freight, so I had to borrow one from work. That's the good news. So we're going to drill these out and then put aluminum Rivnuts in place. So the next step, my plan, is to put an aluminum Rivnut in those holes. These are very hard to find also, at least in this area. You can't find them in any of the local stores, so I had to order it through Grainger and buy a minimum of 25 for $20. But that's what it takes. So we're going to use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them today. And you got a special Rivnut manual tool here to do this. I tried it once at home and it worked, so hopefully it'll work smoothly here as well. You have to keep it tight, hold the outside piece, and then tighten the bolt, which will draw up the center. Well, of course, things never go as planned. It was the top hole that was stripped. I took the bolt and measured it as a 5/16/18 bolt and made the erroneous assumption that the rest of them were 5/16/18s. Well, the other ones aren't. They're probably quarters, 20s. So now I need to get slightly bigger bolts, since the ones that were in there were going to be no good. And the larger bolts don't fit in the track, so we need to modify the track so that the bolts will fit in so they can tighten down. So that's a task for home. So the crux of our problem right now is, like I said, the holes, instead of being quarter 20, we put in 5/16 Rivnuts in there. But I did bring 5/16 bolts, assuming that I'd have to replace them. But I didn't realize there were quarter 20s in the rest of the holes. So the problem is the head of the 5/16 does not fit flush in through the track. So I'm going to go home and either open up the track or turn down the heads of the bolts. I'm not sure yet. We'll see. Today is Saturday, June 30th. Came back up to finish putting the gooseneck track back on the Mast. And after giving it some thought last night, I decided that it was not wise to open up the track so that the 5/16 bolts would get in there, because I would have had to drill the track to get the bolt head through and increase the size of the countersink. And I didn't even have a countersink that big. So I decided to go with the original design, which were quarter 20 screws in all the holes except the top one. So we just drilled and tapped those holes and cleaned it up. We don't have any Tef gel, so we're using blue Loctite now, just to give it a little bit of corrosion resistance. And then next year we'll go ahead and get some Tef gel and put it on there. So we lowered it about an inch. You can see that top cap screw is the original 5/16. Right below it is the new quarter 20. And then we got the quarter 20 bolts, which were the ones that were in there to begin with. So ready to put the boom back on and go for a sail.